Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. When I first started my teaching career, I was here. I started with kindergarten teaching. As years moved on, I moved with time, and I was here. At this point of time, I started teaching the middle school. So I gained a lot of experiences when I was teaching, and then I moved on forward, developing my skills in teaching through my experiences, gaining more experiences. Eventually, today I'm here. I teach class 12. So this is my timeline, my journey in my career. The reason that I showed you my timeline here was because I want to share my experiences of all these years. I'm not an expert, but today as I stand here, I want to share all my experiences that I gained through my first start, through my first stage, through my first step of my career till date. What do you think they want their teachers to do? Have you ever thought about that? Save. Yes, exactly. Therefore, teachers, it's time for us to change. It's time for us to meet their expectations. Now, it's not, like since yesterday we were harping about innovation, we were talking about creativity, we were talking about technology, we're talking about so many things. In English, let me ask, or any language teacher, because I'm doing about language, in language teaching, how many of you use the smartboard? Raise your hands, please. Language teachers.
Sometimes.
What about the Nepali department?
Not in the classes.
No, I mean, yeah, online classes we were forced to, but today, at this present time, how many of us use the smartboard to teach? Okay. During online.
You have got a smartboard here. Who stopped you from bringing your children to the amphitheater and show them a picture?
So she was talking about teaching methodology. We have shown them pictures and we have done it.
No.
No, I mean to say when you're teaching. When you're teaching itself. Okay? So, it's time for change. We have to use smartboards. Because it's not only about lecturing method that we have to use while teaching language. If you've observed smaller children, you'll find that they learn faster than the senior students, or maybe us. Why? Why do you think they pick up languages faster than us? Anybody?
Your grasping power is more.
Are you sure about that? Because even some of the students are very intelligent as senior wing students, or maybe some of the teachers sitting out here.
They have
curiosity to learn something.
Yes, exactly.
They want to learn.
They don't have any fear.
Spontaneous they are.
Spontaneous. And moreover, they acquire a lot of language through their environment. Now, for example, I'm giving my own personal example. I never taught my son how to speak in Nepali. Many of you know that fact. When my son first joined here, he could not understand Nepali because I never taught him Nepali. The reason? Because I knew he would pick up the language. And today, he's more fluent in Nepali than English. So, now, when we talk about language, we talk about the core skills, whether it's Nepali, whether it's Hindi, whether it's English or French. These 4 skills are very important. So what are they? Listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And I've also written out there the input, the output. Input means taking it. When you listen, maybe you're listening to a record player, you're watching and you're listening, or or when you're reading something, you are taking in information. That's your input. But when we speak or when we write, that's our output. So these four areas, okay, are to be emphasized when you're talking about or when you're teaching any language. Now, first of all, when we teach, please make sure, teachers, that you have a good lesson plan. Now, in this lesson plan, like we always divide our, syllabus, we divide according to the month, according to the periods. So we divide the chapters. But do you think that learning the chapters from the book, we have different literary chapters, poems and all. Do you think we're teaching the students how to speak in English by doing that? Therefore, when you make your lesson plan, make sure when you divide the book, when you divide your chapters, please make sure that you incorporate these four things. Keep certain periods for reading, writing, speaking, and listening in your class. Don't get alarmed like saying, oh my gosh, we already have a syllabus covered. How are we going to do this? No. It's when you're teaching, you have to teach the same thing. For example, let's say you're talking about a poem. In the poem, you ask them to read, you ask them to recite, you ask them to summarize, to analyze. So what do they do? And then they kind of read, they listen to you, they speak, they write answers. So all the four skills are being used out here. Similarly, when you talk about a different chapter, let's say there you could write about, okay, write a letter to any of the characters. You're teaching letter writing. So I don't mean do extra something, out of the text. But you have to incorporate these four skills while teaching literature, while teaching whatever chapters in your book. Now, it's also very important that you use teaching aids, because you cannot just come here and teach, because that is lecture method. And yesterday also we were talking about, Alvinda also just talked about how important it is to have flipped classrooms, how important it is to have interactive sessions with children in the class. So, PPT. It is a must. Because it's my own experience, teachers. It does take a lot of hard work when you make these PowerPoint presentations. But let me tell you, it's like, more easier while teaching from the book. When you teach, it's like from the book it's limited. But then when you have presentations, you can do various things. The children, they are more interested, and moreover, they learn really fast. They can understand more, right? Then videos while teaching the lesson, something connected to the lesson itself. So flashcards, dictionaries, audio, smart boards, books, electronic gadgets. So teachers, I said, we have to change. I just walked from the kindergarten level where I got first. I knew nothing about technology. My teaching was not with technology. Today, I have incorporated a lot of technology in my teaching. And I feel that's really, really important. Okay? Now, yesterday we've covered up most of the topics, so I don't want to dwell on this so much more. But then, before I go on to the strategies, I want to talk about two things here. One is pronunciation, one is spelling, which is very important when you are teaching. Even you as teachers, you have to pronounce the words properly. The right pronunciation. When you have the right pronunciation, you have the right spelling. Now, here, is pronounced as, English teachers? No, I just said CH. But why? This is sh. And this is chaos. Why?
Sep is French word, I think.
Origin. Why? Because this is French origin. The other one is Greek. Because in Greek, whenever you have CH, it's always pronounced as K. CH in French is sh, whereas in English it is sh. Yeah, every time I do this in the class, I think of one. Wait, I will ask something. Teachers, I know some of you know the pronunciation. Money? Yes. Can you pronounce that word? CH. Come to the center. Come to the center.
Someone already said it, Chambangini.
That's why, sir. That's the reason. That's the reason.
You asked her to do it.
CHAMPAGNE. Sorry?
CSANPA again.
क्यों तो बता रही क्यों पता नहीं बोर्ड की
Sit down. Anybody? All right.
Sampen.
But then, yeah, I was getting to that point. We already heard Champagni.
I will.
And why I bring out this topic is because I knew a person who used to pronounce the word Champagni. I will not blame him because that's how words are pronounced in English. But this word of origin is different. It's a French word, and therefore it is called champagne. Right? So it's very important to teach origin of language. So whenever, and that's why you have the dictionary. Many of the dictionaries already have the origin written out there, whether it's French, whether it's Latin, Greek, So, and spelling, that's why many of our students get the wrong spelling because they don't know the origin of words. Or they cannot pronounce the words properly. You see, these two things are very important while teaching English. Now, the strategies, drilling. Now, we teach grammar in junior level, but I feel, even sir said earlier that it's not important. I do totally agree. Because obviously these children are just learning how to speak. Why bog them with rules and regulations and grammar? But then again, these are the foundation bricks of English language. Okay? So, you have to drill into them. Now let's say in lower KG you start with 2-letter words. And then you go with 3-letter. But then before that, phonetics, the pronunciation is very important. So it is really important that at this, the kindergarten level, it's very important that they know the sounds of words. And that's why you have a lot of nursery rhymes. You don't have to do anything, teachers. Put on music and make them dance. Make them listen to nursery rhymes. You sing along with them, you dance along with them. For example, if they say A for apple, apple, there's a song. B for ball, ball. Teach them sounds so that as they grow higher, they will not make mistakes in spelling, in pronunciation, in reading. Okay? Role play. Here I would like to do a role play even in grammar. So for that, I need a volunteer. You can not please stop. Maybe one more volunteer. Okay, Darasa, please stop. Let's say, okay, she is Rituma, Darasa. Now she is going to tell him something. He's going to listen to her. She is going to tell him something. So here, when she speaks, she's the first person. Okay? She's talking to him. He's the second person. All of you are listening. So just tell him something. Loudly, so that everybody can hear.
Okay. Ravana sir, I'm enjoying Patrick ma'am's class.
Thank you. Okay. This was at around 1:45 that she spoke, right? 1:45. Now it's 1:46. All right. What's your name? Sanju. Can you tell me what just happened?
She explained how she was doing in the past.
Is it right? Did she say that? Okay, what did she say?
The answer I'm enjoying Patrick ma'am's class.
No.
Anybody? Right. Okay, Neha. She's been my student. So let me see how well I've taught her.
Ma'am told you that she was enjoying Patrick's math class. Indirect speech.
Indirect speech. Indirect. She reported because obviously Neha was not the one, or he was not the one, or you are not the one that spoke. She was the one. So you just reported what she said. This is recorded speech. So through role plays, through giving them time reference, we can teach them what is past and how it is reported. Okay? Thank you very much. Dramatization, reading, reciting, storytelling, discussions, debates, speech, presentations, group activities. Group activities, I've found them very effective. Obviously, there are students who are really weak in classes. So how can we motivate them?
So group activities.
Always make sure that in a group, there's always a weak student supported by a good student. Because what is happening is, he's listening to the discussions that is happening in the group. Okay? He is analyzing it. He's also learning to write. He's producing work. That is effective language learning also. Because at the same time, they're speaking. Now, project work. Now, this is not only for seniors. Recently, they've also started with the smaller children. For example, give them a project about my family, my favorite food. Okay, obviously, the parents will have to help, but the child, even a class 1 child, when she comes to the class, she's going to talk about it. She's going to prepare that project because that is what she likes to do. Her favorite thing, her favorite food, her favorite pet. She will research. Okay? And then she's going to write it. Even for seniors, a lot of research work is done here when you give project work. You read a lot. Okay? Students read a lot. They're taking in information. They're listening to different talks on the same topic. And then they're speaking about it, they're writing about it. So that's why project-based tasks are also very important in teaching them language. Interpreting pictures, gamification. Now, when I talk about gamification, let's take you back. Yeah, I've given you papers. Yes. See how ready you are when I tell you you have the But please watch out for students because this is the time that we get a lot of chaos. Okay? So it should be structured game. Now, revisiting a child with you. Remember this game? Yes. I've written in the paper. Yes. The name, place, animal. Alright. Write any name starting with B. Place, animal thing. B or B? B. 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 All the four columns, you have to fill all the columns. So Neha has finished first. Okay. All the columns. Done. Alright. Second. Something starting with N.
Yeah.
N. Nina. N. She's the first one. Okay. This was just a short exercise. Now, after you play this game, you ask the children, what did you write? What did you all write? Children don't do that. So, which means that's a noun. So, this is how you teach. So, as they go to higher classes, then teach them what is common noun. What are the common noun there, teachers?
Common noun is the thing.
What about proper noun?
Names.
So, through games also, we can teach nouns. Now, it's the bingo yesterday, Shraddha did.
Yes.
It's not only for maths, remember dears, even for language. Like you have sight word bingo. Okay, so you have this particular paper with you, especially for the smaller children, and then the teacher will show, certain things. So let's say, for example, she shows a picture of a stick. So they just cross it out. The fastest to get the 5 words correct will be the winner. So this is also a kind of a word bingo. Now, so I don't want to dwell much more because that's what we did yesterday while teachers were demonstrating, when teachers were talking about innovation and all. Now, I've taken something from literature, and this is my mind mapping, like Avinanda just said, okay? And this is where I've put integrated technology and also integrated other subjects. For instance, let's say The Enemy, written by Pearl S. Buck, which is in class 12 book. So first of all, I tell them, all right, children, tomorrow we're going to do this particular chapter. Please make sure you read and come. And at the same time, I give them 3 reading activities like, okay, reading, vocabulary, go through difficult words. And then I tell them, okay, go through the biography of the writer. And then I tell them, go through the themes in the story. And for this, I also give them an activity, which is there in the handout. You will be getting it later, okay? So which is called the closed reading activity. For senior classes, it's different. This smaller classes, it could be match the following, it could be fill in the blanks, it could be meanings of words, you just give fill in the blanks from the chapter before you teach. I'll be giving you this. So this is how I've done for The Enemy. I've given them a direction. Now this is about the themes. Okay, so I've given 3 colors, and 1 color I've written decisions and duty. Second one, humanization and kindness, and third, racism. So these are the themes that are prevalent in the story. So their work is to read. And then I have even summarized. There are 3 summaries, and at the same time, I have a theme tracker. That means if this is racism, they'll color this in blue. Okay? So, and then your analysis. What do you think about it? So the children, instead of informing them, instead of giving them everything, you're asking them to build it up on their own. Okay? This is...
Ma'am, what is their CLOZD? Close
activities, I just said, close activities are activities given to children where, like I said, you either give them fill in the blanks from the chapter.
This is CLOZD is different word.
Yes,
I heard only CLOSC. That's
Close,
right.
where you give, like fill in the blanks, and like you give them from the chapter that you're going to teach. Okay, but then you don't give the full answers. You ask them to put read and then to put it. So this was my close activity. And then teaching aids are very important, like I said. So I use a book, a map, PowerPoint presentation, and YouTube. So you see, map. They're also reading maps here. They're going to geography. They're touching upon geography. Okay? And then while teaching, what I do is, first of all, I ask them to teach aloud, to read aloud, sorry. Then I give a PowerPoint presentation and I give a short historical background. Because every time when you teach a chapter, it's not about only understanding the chapter that is there. It's not about learning what the chapter is about. It's also understanding about the background, the themes, the way that the author has written the story. Why, what, where. These are also important. So, like for example, this has a historical background. And then what I do is, so it becomes really interesting, they also look forward to the classes because of these things.
다리군 고객타이와 신유항 업보 약후 하지유 가일 지대 니대 다리 중.
Now this story has a background. It's about the bombing at Pearl Harbor. Have you watched the movie Pearl Harbor?
Yes.
How many of you watched? Yeah. So this story is based on that historical event, okay, where there's enmity between the Japanese and the Americans. So I give them a short introduction by showing clipping of a movie, and I ask them to watch the movie at home. Okay, so this is one thing that you can also do in order to make your teaching very interesting. And then I also discuss about the generations. Very important because you are language teachers. Even I'm not talking only about English teachers. I'm talking about Nepali, Hindi, French. This is how you need to go on. You have to change the strategies that you'll be following. And you'll find that students become more interested, they become more receptive, they become more interactive. And then, then also the setting. Again, when I talk about the setting of the story, here again I show them a map where it's located. Okay? Then obviously I talk about the characters in the story. Then we discuss about figures of speech. So, it would look like this. My presentation looks like this. Now, these are some things. And after reading, what do you do after reading? You do not stop there. Question answers at the back of the book. That is not enough. That is just a practice for them. Okay? To learn how to answer the questions. To learn how to comprehend. To test whether they've understood or not. So, you have other activities. Now here you have to touch upon the higher order thinking skills. Ask them open-ended questions here. Okay? Talk about the moral values, the psychological values, the critical values or the critical ideas that are there. Then you talk about the comprehension. You will ask them to have a debate based on that particular topic. So what is happening? You're doing everything. You're making the child read, you're making the child listen, you're making the child write down, speak, everything happens in the same chapter. Remember your lesson plan, when I said incorporate all these core skills into your teaching, you don't need to have a separate thing. In the same chapter, you can incorporate them. Right? So, and then yes, creating situations, having role plays, okay? So all those things. Okay, so I'm about to finish. Now, again, another activity is the moral philosophical approach that you have, because here you have reflective sessions. The children reflect, they evaluate, they discuss, they talk about moral values from the chapter. Okay? So stylistic approach means they identify different features, figures of speech, what kind of language, okay? So meanings, etc., etc. Now, this I've already discussed about this, no need. So here we come to the most common errors in English language. Again, I'm not going in detail because I have the worksheets. You'll be getting it. But first of all, let's see some things. You must have seen this on hoarding boards. Can you see? Did you notice something on it? Yes, what is it? Low volume. Bigger box. Laundry, dry cleaning, reasonable heat. So many times it's embarrassing to read such things on a hoarding board. And we are not behind. We often make a lot of mistakes. Complaint, mistakenly. Children's. It's all in plural. Okay, I've already put it down in writing, but I want to discuss few things here. So these are the common errors that we make. Now, here, use of apostrophes. What is an apostrophe? Why do we use apostrophes? Yes. When you show a possession, when you show some kind of ownership, that is one thing. Secondly, contraction. When you're making short form, for example, count. Instead of writing C-A-N-N-O-T, you just put C-A-N apostrophe. Or whose bag is it? Pankaj Sir's apostrophe S. Please remember, teachers, we use apostrophes only for two reasons. One is when we show contraction. That means it's a big word. We are, making it small, omitting some of the words. Secondly, we use these apostrophes when we talk about ownership, when we talk about possessions. Alright? And plural forms, you use S, but some of you write apostrophe S.
Let me give a couple of examples right and show, because this is one mistake which many teachers make.
Now, for example, is this correct? No. Why? We should have an apostrophe because I told you it's about possession, it's about ownership. Okay? So whose shop is this? But then it does not mean you write. Is this right? No. Because yours, it's already a possessive form.
Okay, let's give an example of teachers. In there I find this mistake coming.
Teacher, some outsiders.
Alright, here I'm taking two words. Now, let's say So we put apostrophe. But here we're talking about plural. Teachers, so where do we put apostrophe? After it. Why? After it. Why? Because that's plural. And there's already S out there. Never forget this rule. Okay? At the same time, when you deal with plural, like I showed you one example, children. It's already plural form. When we talk about people, plural, we don't have to say peoples. Okay? And when we put S, we do not use the apostrophe because apostrophe is used only for what? Possession and? Just remember that, teachers.
Ma'am, one question.
Yes.
Like people is, you said it's already plural form, but there is one people's college in Nepal.
Ask the principal. Maybe it is people's. It's a name. Let's not take it as people plural thing. Let's take it as a name. It's a name. I'd like to end with this quote. I am only one, but still I am one. I cannot do everything, but still I can do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do something I can do. Thank you, teachers. Let's do. And let's not forget that no matter what, like Sir also talked about the quote that time, it's the same thing. Okay? No matter what, if it's a single effort, and we should always think we can do it. Can you do it, teachers? Yes. Yes. Yes.